Welcome everybody to the Mind, Body, and Soul TV, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios, the beautiful Rocky Mountains right behind me. And we're going to have a fantastic show for you this evening. And of course, we are streaming live on YouTube Live, as well as YouTube Red, and at ConsciousEvolutionMedia.com. Our theme for this evening is Wisdom of the Angels, and we have no other than Lori Danielle Falk with us this evening, who is the creator of all this art and beauty. And welcome to the show, Lori.
Thank you, Steve. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this evening.
Thank you. And she's joining us from Cheese Country, Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, part of me wants to say go Pack go, but that ship has sailed for the season.
But
so.
you're coming towards me.
Yes, I am. I'm coming to Colorado in 2-3 weeks.
There you go. And you may even move to Colorado.
I am going to move to Colorado.
There you go. Well, okay. Awesome. So before we start and go deeper into your work, well, of course, Lori is an epigenetic healing artist, an author, and a coach. And if I had the power, which I don't, if I could take all those titles away and any other titles that anybody has ever called you, what would be left? Who is really Lori Danielle Falk?
The essence of me is just pure love. It really is. My greatest honor in this lifetime is to be Tally's mom. She's my puppy, and I love her to pieces.
There you go. So you do have a dog.
I do. And she's in the other room being very quiet.
It's all right. It's okay. Okay, so fantastic. So tell us just a little story about you, like the shorter version. How did you end up on your journey here with this beautiful art? Because I looked at your art and it's really gorgeous, and I'm sure you're going to tell us about what's also behind the art, because there's things behind the art, behind the curtain.
There are many things behind the curtain. Yes. Well, the long and the short of it, Steve, is that I used to be in the retail fashion industry, and I woke up one day and I said, hemlines go up and hemlines go down, and nobody dies from it. And if I have to write another story about fashion, I might die. Wow. So that was pretty big. 20 years in the fashion industry. That was an awakening. And then I got real, and I just got down on my hands and knees and I begged God to show me what I was here for. I literally begged him, and I was divinely led to becoming a spiritual life coach, which I love, and thought that was it. And then I was told there was more, and I kept getting these messages to draw, which didn't make any sense to me, because I wasn't one of these people that had this burning desire to be an artist. I just loved being a coach and loved helping people have better lives. And art I appreciated, but never did I think of doing it. But the messages, oh my God, continued for 6 months. And you know, unlike Denver, Wisconsin in January, we don't see the sun for weeks on end. So it was the winter of 2005. It was January, 12 years ago. And I said, you know what? Nothing's working. So if you want to draw, I'm talking to my angels, looking up and saying, if you want to draw, let's draw. But it just better be important. Because FYI, I'm a type A Capricorn. It's the middle of the business week, and I think this is pretty crazy. So
well, check this out, how coordinated this is. So I got into this business about the same time.
Wow.
And I got out of the finance industry because I spent like 6 years in it after I got out of the technology industry, because in 2000, the bottom fell out.
Right.
And then in 2005, 2006, I began to notice that the bottom is about to fall out of the finance industry. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to go what I think and what I know I really love, and that's media.
Wow.
And so for the first time, I was in the media while I was in finance, because I was doing the radio show for 3 years. But besides that, I never took it out on my own. But at that time, I decided, whatever, I don't care what happens. I'm doing this. I'm creating this. And I almost died right before that. Go figure.
Well, I felt like I almost died right before all this.
Yeah. I mean, I almost like destroyed myself. So there you go. But that's a great story. It's interesting how synchronized it is in terms of when you did it and when I did it. But I'm not going to read anything into that. Okay.
Okay.
So tell us about the messages, because that really intrigues me, because I'm so much more these days into the unseen, the untouched, the stuff that a lot of people don't want to deal with. They just want to deal with because they think that this is really real. Like, this table is really real. Don't tell me that it isn't. But I'm much more intrigued these days with what's beyond our senses. So to tell us about that, that's really cool.
Well, when I was going through the School of Spiritual Psychology, which was right around 9/11, we had to do a thesis, and I chose to do my thesis on angel communication because I was fascinated by it. And being the overachiever that I tend to be, I had way more than an hour-long presentation on the subject, and I literally developed an 8-week angel communication program. And through the course of all of this, I just started connecting and channeling my angels on a daily basis. And that's how I was divinely led to becoming a spiritual life coach and subsequently an epigenetic healing artist. But back then, I mean, when they said to draw, they didn't really tell me what it was I was going to draw. So it was kind of me telling them, well, I'm going to ask you a question. If we're going to draw and we're going to make a painting, then there should be something more to it than just it's a pretty piece of art. And I'm sure I was in channel mode as I said that, because how else would I know? So I said, here's the first question I'm going to ask you. What do the people of the world need to know more than anything else right now? And the answer was, all is in divine order. All is well.
Yeah.
And
even when it doesn't seem to be.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, right. Yes, we could say right now, even though it doesn't seem like it is, it is.
Yeah.
So, and then I thought, well, I'm just going to write down this message. But at that moment, it was more important to just draw. And so this beautiful portrait was literally channeled onto the paper. They told me what colors to use, and it got built in layers, and it was magnificent. And then they gave me the message. But generically speaking, what I do with these angelic message portraits is I will ask, what can you tell us as a species, a human species, or a spiritual beings having a human experience? What do we need to know to have more inner peace? What can you tell us so that we can have unity? This is our unity angel behind me. What can you tell us so that we can move through our emotional healing? What can you tell us that we need to know about world peace? So I asked these questions, and since I have been fluently channeling angels for years, that piece, the auditory piece, and taking the automatic dictation of the message is simple. But where the beauty comes in is that, now again, I don't understand how this happens, but I know it to be very real. The wisdom of that message gets energetically encoded into each piece of art, so that when the public is viewing this art, each individual is moved at a heart level, and they absorb that wisdom into their emotional field, where they have access to it, bypassing that little cognitive monkey mind that gets in the way most of the time. So that is, to me, Steve, the most poignant part of the work that I do, is that people get it, whether they read that message or not. They have that wisdom within them.
So are you saying in between the lines there that that the paintings, the art, has a certain frequency that it vibrates at?
Yes, absolutely. And this is a case in point. This afternoon I had a meeting with an art consultant, and so I wanted to take some of my key originals with me that are hanging in my studio. So I packed them in my portfolio, went and did some other things, came back into my studio, and I felt like there was this void. Oh my God. And all I had done was taken down 2 of the paintings. But that's how powerful they are. I mean, you cannot stand in front of one of these pieces and not feel them if you're conscious. Well,
I feel them right now because I have goosebumps. That's that's how I actually learned to. That's my way of sensing through this body. What am I in front of, and what am I presented with, or who am I connected with, or what am I connected with? And so as we probably all know, just for the rest of the viewers, that everything is energy, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Including us, including the art that you have behind you. That's all energy. And wow, like I'm feeling it really strong right now. So and I think I heard you say that you want to put these pieces of art into hospitals and places where people can benefit from them, right?
Yes, it's my deepest passion. It's the next step of this mission. My goal is to get this art, which helps people heal at an emotional level, which is really where all healing needs to take place. We cannot heal the physical until the emotional thoughts that created this are healed. So my goal right now, moving forward, is to take this body of art that I've already created and move it into hospitals and medical centers across the country. And once that is achieved, then I'll move into the next body of art that I've already been given a vision of doing, and get those into hospitals and medical centers. It's like I can't rest until I help people with the emotions that they're all carrying. And right now, with the world in the state that it's in, our emotional healing is the most important thing we can possibly do. We have got to figure out a way to do that. And so if you can do that by looking at a piece of art, oh my God, how amazing, right?
Well, I think we need to get a piece of art into President Trump's office, into the White House.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Yes. I'd be happy to send him one.
Yeah, I think you should. And so, wow. So what's also coming to me is that when you mentioned emotions, it's one of the things I found just in my journey, through my journey, and what I'm learning and what I learned about myself and others, that emotions is a really tough thing for people to understand and why they're even there and what to do with them. So, we can talk about it until the cows come home, but people are not doing the inner work, is what I'm finding that's needed, that's required, because I've done lots of health shows. You probably don't know that about me. I healed myself, because that's how powerful we are. We are powerful enough to make ourselves sick and powerful enough to heal ourselves.
Yes.
So, in a sense, the only thing the medical industry should be needed for is when we have certain emergencies, like, we cut our finger off or something like that, or when we're having a baby or whatever. Right. But I think the stuff that's going on right now, and the fact that there's Walgreens and whatever at every corner now, joined with McDonald's.
Right.
And they have a partnership going on.
They do. They're keeping each other in business.
Behind the curtains. Yeah. So they probably have a program running. They pay each other. So with all of that going on, this kind of stuff and this kind of art, and you took it. And what I love about it is that it's not just, I have heard all the shiny objects, and about all the shiny objects, I'm sick and tired of them. I got this and I got that and I got something else, and if you buy this, then you do this, and if you buy that, and I have 10,000 people that will tell you that it worked for them. I just get a little tired of all of that. But when it comes to art, and the reason I'm saying this is that, and I talked about it on another show, is I'm noticing that, and this is true for, I think, most people, including the ones that are not awake, and that's kind of important. So for example, when we're in a movie, and when we're in front of a piece of art like yours, we seem to have the ability to stop the conversation, the story, about what we're experiencing. We seem to be able to be just in the experience. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely.
Like when I go to a movie, I'm like there 100%, and I don't care about the rest of my life. I don't talk about it to myself or to others. Well, to others, it would be detrimental. But I don't even talk to myself about it. I'm just noticing that when and same thing when I do music and when I do art, I am there. I am just with it. And this conversation about the story of your art and the story of the movie doesn't begin until I come out. Make sense?
Yes, yes.
So since we know people can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
All they have to do, really, is stand in front of your art. That's all they have to do.
Truly,
it's that simple.
And myself, I just went to an art opening last week, and I stood in front of this artist's amazing pieces, and I felt like I was transformed just standing in front of it. And we can do the same thing in our minds. It's just that the art helps us, right? The movie helps us create the story, but it's that whole daydreaming process and the visualization process that is how we manifest amazing things into our lives.
Well, what I was attempting to say is that we're willing to have the experience, and when we talk about the story of the experience, we mess up the whole experience because we have a story about it, which isn't even accurate at all. Most of the time. I don't know, maybe sometimes it is, but most of the time it isn't. That's just my experience of my own stories. I mean, what are my stories? My stories are all the stuff other people told me. Society, teachers, parents, people I love, people I loved. They tell me all this stuff and I buy it hook, line, and sinker. They're not even mine. But I had a story about it, don't I? I'm going to infuse it, and I'm going to infuse it onto the movie that I just saw after I come out. But while I'm there and having the experience, I'm not doing it, which is beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then here's a poignant story that I can really tell you about that shows you how this art really works. When I was a very young girl, I was sexually abused. And one day I went to my therapist and I said, I'm just done with this. I'm done with how this has impacted my life on so many levels. And she said, okay, I get it. Go home and make one of those angelic message portraits for yourself to heal yourself from this. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I did. I went home and I created this angel, and she's actually kneeling and she's crying, this infinity river of tears, which is the foundation upon which her life is built, until she can learn to speak the truth through her heart, and then the sun can come out around her and she can heal. So it was a very healing piece. I hung it in my bedroom because I thought, like if you're going to heal from sexual abuse, not a bad place to put it in your bedroom. I couldn't sleep, Steve. I could not sleep. So I put it in the living room, and I thought, well, this should be okay. No, then every time I sat in the living room, I was agitated. Okay. So I hung it in the foyer, thinking that at least it's not, like out in the snow. It's in the foyer. It's still in my home. And it was right adjacent to my home office. And two clients walked in the following week and stood in front of it and started sobbing. And they had no idea what that portrait was, what it was designed for. And they apologized profusely because they were crying. And I said, no, you just taught me something, because both of these women had been sexually abused when they were young girls. And I knew that because I was their coach. So when that visceral experience happened, that's why I know the power of this art, because they had no idea. No idea. Wow. Every time I tell that story, it just touches my heart.
So I was not going to bring this up, but now since you brought it up, I almost feel like I have carte blanche. So I saw this on your website, adult coloring books.
Yeah.
Like really? You were healed.
A lot of the products I've created over the years have come from my clients' requests. And I was teaching an experiential spiritual art program about a year ago, and my clients started asking me why I didn't have a coloring book. And I said, what? I was totally oblivious to this whole adult coloring, and and it sounds like, right, adult coloring books. What are they? Well, they're just more sophisticated coloring books that would have enough detail to intrigue an adult. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, okay, well, this makes sense, right? I have all this art. I'm not that attached to it. I'll knock all the color out and I'll put it in the coloring book and people can color and get the healing energy of the whole thing while they're doing it. And so that's how that got created. I mean, the adult coloring book industry went from 1 million in sales to 14 million in sales about 2 years ago. So I thought I'd jump in that bandwagon, I guess.
Yeah, well, you have the retail background, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know what to say, you know how to say it. So
the consummate trend queen,
And there's a lot of people that I'm sure have, sexual addictions and whatever that you can assist them with.
Well, 50% of all women are sexually abused by the time they're 18. The reported statistic is 25%, but if you talk to any therapist, they'll say it's 50%. And that's why, I remember a long time ago, someone asked me, are you sure you want to go forward and go public with this? And I said, if not now, when? If not me, who? Somebody's got to talk about this, or we'll all keep our heads in the sand and nothing will ever change. So
yeah, we just have big elephants in the rooms.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so you also wrote this book, What the World Needs to Know Now, right?
Yes.
And that came from the angels. So you actually wrote a book about that experience?
What the World Needs to Know Now, Wisdom of the Angels, is a compilation of probably about 40 of my angelic message portraits and the stories that go with them. What'll be more interesting is the book that hasn't been written yet, which really tells the story of my life and how all this came to be. And that will be fascinating. That will be very fascinating.
So is there one out of all those 40 that you just mentioned that's more endearing to you than all the others that you would be willing to share?
Well, certainly the Abuse Healing Angel played a pivotal role in my life. And one of the others that I am totally fascinated with is the Emotional Healing Angel. So all of this art heals at an emotional level, but this particular piece actually was created to help people heal their emotions, generically speaking. And the interesting part of this is it was done in two different parts. One was done in October at a gong bath at a healing center in Illinois. And the entire room was dark. And this musician was playing these gongs. And so a gong bath is designed specifically to break up the emotional field and to help people heal their emotions. So I did the first layer of pastel chalks in the dark, totally didn't know what I was drawing. And then in January, the following January, I went back to that same healing center. The same guy was there doing another gong bath, and I pulled the piece out of my portfolio and I embellished it with mineral pigments and glitter paints, again, totally in the dark. So I had no idea, right? So I really was just tuning in to what the guidance was and just letting that energy flow onto the page. Now, since that angel has been completed and we've created prints of it, I will take it to trade shows, just like I take all my other art to trade shows. And what's fascinating to me about this piece is that men are so drawn to it. And, I love men, but bless their souls, emotional healing is not their strong suit. It takes, it's a rare man who will actually dig in there and do that work. It's usually the women. I mean, even when I go to the Hay House,
I dug in there.
You did, but you're not normal, honey. You're one of the chosen.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm not normal.
So these men will come up to me at a trade show and hand me their American Express card and never ask me the price and just say, I want that one. And they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to know anything. All they know is it grabbed them so much at a heart level that they can't not have it. And to me, because there's so many women, I mean, you're in the conscious community, it's mostly women. There are 80% women at any event that you go to.
Yeah, so, most of them are usually overweight.
Well, there's that.
That's how they deal with it. Yeah.
well, come to the Midwest, honey. You haven't seen
Mhm.
anything yet. Anyway, I pride myself on not being a local girl. So it's just magnificent to me to know that I created a piece that's touching the hearts of men. Truly. I mean, and there have been other ones that if men are awake enough that they absolutely love, but that one universally just grabs the men and draws them in, and it can help them heal. So
That's very cool.
yeah.
So so maybe let's talk a little bit about how people can when they watch the show, how they can get more information about you, about your art, where they can buy it. Where are you coming? I mean, I guess you're coming to Denver or close to Denver. When maybe you want to talk about that, and whatever else you want to talk about as far as what you're promoting right now.
Well, thank you, Steve. The art is primarily available through our website, which is wisdomoftheangels.com. And all the portraits that are part of the collection, if you will, are on there. And they're available on the website in a couple of sizes, but any piece can be made into any size. That if someone has a need for it, or a place in their home or their office that they'd like to put it, we'd be happy to custom make something for them.
Great.
And I also do custom pieces for individuals, and that's where it gets really exciting, where I'll tune into their angels and bring forward a message just for them. And then the wisdom of that message gets encoded into a portrait designed to work with them specifically at a heart level, so that they can experience more love, joy, health, wealth, peace, and happiness. And that's where the fun really comes in. And all of that information is on the website as well.
Very awesome.
Yeah. And then if you're anyone in the Denver area, I will be coming out to Denver and doing 2 events, one on the 17th, which is a Friday evening, and one on the 18th of February, which is a Saturday afternoon. And it's called the Mystical Mystery Tour. And it's an experiential.
Is that a Beatles tour? Excuse me.
Yeah, the Mystical Mystery Tour. Basically what it is it's a 4-hour journey into raising your vibration, so that you get to a point where at the end of this program, you are channeling art. And that's magical to watch people really go through that process and then have them have that connection with their angels. We do we use aromatherapy and sound therapy and guided visualizations, and we play with angel cards, and we do channeled writings, and then ultimately it culminates with each person creating a divinely inspired piece of art.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. You could join us. Since you're in Denver, you could come. It's in Castle Rock.
Castle Rock, yeah. That's only like, I don't know, 30 miles south of Denver, about.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting. So maybe I'll come as the media.
There you go.
And we'll do a follow-up show or something.
Oh, I'd love that. Absolutely.
Well, that's fascinating. All right. So what about your website? How do they get there?
www.wisdomoftheangels.com. And if they want to contact us, the phone number is 608-630-8246. Or they can email me directly at lori.falk, F-A-L-K, @me.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So let's, we're coming like to the end of the show here in a few minutes. Let's finish with something that what's coming to me is, I believe that everything that we're doing here, like you and I, are in the ether, like right now. So it doesn't matter what medium I'm using to make this show, it is everywhere. I am everywhere and you're everywhere. And supposedly there are 7 billion of us here. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen a sample. What would you like to tell them, all 7 billion right now, that would be appropriate for where humanity is at the moment?
I'd like them to remember that at the core essence of every human on this planet is love. And that's not always an easy thing to understand, but that is the essence of who we are. We are all love. And instead of looking at the events that are in the news media and throwing negativity at them, if we would just shine light on it and bless it and know that all is well and all is in divine order and shine love and light, that is going to be so healing. And if we all do that, instead of cursing the darkness, magic will happen beyond your wildest dreams. I promise.
That's beautiful. So I just want to add to that is how I shed light on that stuff is I don't watch it and I don't recognize it. In my world, that stuff doesn't exist.
Well, I agree, and I would say the same, but we're not normal. Remember, Steve?
Yeah, we're not normal.
We're not normal.
We're not normal.
Oh,
okay.
But as a friend of mine said, no, you're the new normal.
Yeah, that's true. Because I now know, and I don't know a whole lot, but I now know that I create my reality, and I believe it. Yeah. So I get to create whatever I want to create, and that's up to me.
Right.
And that stuff just doesn't get any energy from me because it doesn't make me feel good. I do all the things these days that make me feel good. If it brings me pleasure, bring it on.
Right.
By the way, the other day I was just going somewhere in the morning in my car, and as I was thinking about this, there was a car next to me with the license plate, bring it on.
Wow.
Now, isn't that crazy? These synchronicities are outrageous. I love them.
Well, I know. And today, as I was on my way to my meeting with the art consultant, I asked the angels, I said, just show me that you're with me. And I looked up and the license plate next to me said, be the one.
I'm going to make a license plate if it doesn't exist. You are the one.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We just have to help more and more people wake up. That's it.
I'm writing that down.
Okay. You are the one.
You are the one. Awesome. I had so much fun. Lori, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for being on our network and bringing some of that light and some of that love in your art. And they are beautiful. I'm sure they are much more beautiful if I was able to stand right in front of them. But I may get a chance to do that.
Infinite love and gratitude. You will when I come to Denver. We're going to get together.
Fantastic. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Much love to you and to everybody else. And tune in to our shows. Of course, we have one coming up on Sunday, which is a special show every Sunday. It happens in our phase 2 existence of Conscious Evolution Media, where we are learning about how to play this game called life. Thank you so much for being with us. See you on Sunday at 10, and then next week, life goes on.
Bless your heart.
Love you all. See you in Denver.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
You too.